She came into my bed like she belonged there. Her wedding ring was still on her finger when she gripped my thighs and kissed me like she had been starved for a woman her entire life. I felt her wedding band slide against my skin, and I knew that if her husband ever found out, he would destroy both of us. But at that moment, I did not care. I tasted her. I felt her tremble against me. I watched her fall apart in my arms, moaning my name, not his, and for the first time, I realized she had been pretending to be straight her whole life. And now I was the secret she was willing to sin for. To all my returning viewers, thank you for always being here, sharing your time and emotions with me. You are the reason these stories live and breathe. And to all the beautiful new eyes watching, I see you. I feel your presence. I truly appreciate you. I cannot wait for you to hit that subscribe button. It is the fuel that keeps this channel burning and alive. Please do not forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. I read them all, and your reactions mean the world to me. Now, let me take you inside the story. My name is Rachel. I am 29. I am white, divorced, and live in a quiet suburban street just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. My marriage ended 2 years ago, and since then, I have kept to myself. My ex-husband cheated on me with a yoga instructor who taught him how to stretch everything except his loyalty. I moved into this quiet cul-de-sac thinking I would rebuild. Heal. What I never expected was to fall for the woman next door. A married woman. A woman I believed was straight. Her name was Nicole. Nicole had the kind of smile that made you forget your pain. She was 33, blonde, olive-skinned, and elegant in a way that felt effortless. We met on my second week in the neighborhood when she brought over banana bread and wine while her husband, Jason, was at work. We clicked too easily. Too quickly. She was charming, open, flirtatious in a playful way I assumed was just her personality. But somewhere between sharing bottles of wine, Netflix nights, and sunbathing together in her backyard while Jason traveled for work, I started to notice how her glances lingered on me longer than they should. The first night it got strange was when we watched a movie together. She had fallen asleep with her head in my lap, and I brushed her hair back out of instinct. She looked up at me with those green eyes and whispered, "You are so warm." Then fell asleep again, like nothing had happened. The second night, I kissed her cheek when I left. It was harmless, right? Friends did that. But she held my hand afterward. Held it a second too long. And her thumb traced the inside of my wrist. I remember walking home with my chest pounding. I told myself I was imagining things. That she was just affectionate. That I had been touch-starved for so long I was twisting normal things into fantasies. But by the third night, nothing about it felt imaginary. Nicole came over late. Jason was out of town for 3 days. She brought 2 bottles of wine. We drank on the couch, legs tangled, watching reruns of old sitcoms and laughing too loud. Around midnight, she looked at me and said, "I never realized how empty this house feels until I come here." I smiled. "I like the quiet." She leaned in. "But I like your noise more." Then, she kissed me. It was soft at first. Cautious. Her lips brushed mine like she was trying to understand something inside herself. Then it deepened. Her hand cupped the side of my face. Her body pressed into mine. I felt her ring against my skin as she touched me. She whispered, "I cannot stop thinking about this." And neither could I. We stumbled into my bedroom like two people who had waited too long. Her wedding ring never came off. Her mouth trailed kisses down my body like she had done it before. Like she knew what women needed, because she had needed it too. I felt her shudder when I whispered her name. She begged me not to stop. She cried in my arms when it was over. Tears, real ones. She whispered, "What have I done?" I held her close, even though I had no answer. She left before sunrise. The next morning, I stood in my kitchen staring at the couch where it all began. My phone buzzed. It was a message from her. I cannot stop thinking about last night. I am scared. But I want more. I stared at the screen for a long time. This was not just about sex. This was not just a mistake. It was the beginning of something beautiful, dangerous, and completely forbidden. And I was already falling in love with her. She did not come over the next night. Or the one after that. Instead, I saw her through my living room window, watering her front lawn like nothing had happened. Hair pulled up, sundress clinging to her waist, her wedding ring catching the morning light like it had not betrayed me 2 nights ago. She waved when she saw me watching. Just a normal, friendly wave. My stomach twisted. She had made love to me, cried in my arms, told me she wanted more, and now she was back in wife mode. The silence that followed made me wonder if I had hallucinated everything. But then she texted me again. Tonight. After Jason sleeps. That was how it began. The secret. The game. The addiction. She would sneak over through the side gate, barefoot, with no makeup and her hoodie zipped up to her chin. She never stayed past 3 in the morning. She always kissed me like she needed it to breathe. And when it was over, she would lie there trembling, whispering, "I do not know who I am anymore." I did. She was a woman breaking apart in my bed, held together only by lies and orgasms. The guilt came in strange waves. I would watch her kiss Jason on the driveway before he left for work. I would see her hold his hand at neighborhood barbecues. Once, I caught her wearing the necklace I gave her, just beneath her blouse, hidden, like a secret pressed to her skin. I knew what we were doing was wrong. But it felt too right to stop. Nicole would tell me little pieces of herself when she stayed. How she never felt understood. How Jason was safe but never exciting. How being around me made her feel like a person again. Like a woman again. She said, "I used to look at women and wonder. But I never let myself explore it. Not until you." She would hold my hand in the dark and say, "You make me feel like I have been lying to myself for years." One night, we were tangled in my sheets, her head on my chest, and she said, "He suspects something." I froze. Jason. The husband. The man we were betraying every time she moaned into my mouth. I asked her what he knew. She said, "Nothing. But he watches me differently now." That was the first night she cried again after sex. Not out of guilt, but out of fear. The tension rose fast. Nicole became distant during the day, but intense at night. She would ignore my texts, then show up after midnight desperate and shaking. I asked her once, "What are we doing, Nicole?" She sat up in bed, hugging her knees. "I do not know," she said. "But I cannot stop. I do not want to." I should have walked away then. I should have closed my door and let her go home to her perfect suburban lie. But instead, I kissed her. And I let her undress me again. And again. And again. The most dangerous thing about secrets is how normal they start to feel. By the 3rd week, I was used to hiding. I was used to cleaning up wine glasses before dawn, spraying my pillows with lavender to hide her scent, folding her forgotten bra into my drawer like a love letter I could not throw away. She began leaving me notes. "I dream about you when I sleep next to him. I wish I met you first. Please do not fall in love with anyone else." I kept every note in a shoebox under my bed. Like some teenage girl chasing a fantasy. But it was not a fantasy. It was real. Raw. And it was eating both of us alive. The breaking point came when Jason invited me over for dinner. He grilled steaks. Nicole acted normal. Almost too normal. She touched his arm. She kissed his cheek. She laughed at his stories. Meanwhile, under the table, her foot slid up my leg. My heart pounded so hard I thought I would pass out. After dessert, while Jason cleaned the dishes, she pulled me aside into the laundry room. She kissed me there. Right next to the dryer. Fast. Breathless. Dangerous. She whispered, "Come over tonight." And then walked away like nothing happened. That night, she never came. I waited. Stared at the clock. Watched headlights roll down the street. Listened for the side gate. Nothing. I texted her. "Are you okay?" No reply. Did something happen? Still nothing. I barely slept. I kept checking my phone. When morning came, I stared out the window, and saw them. Nicole and Jason. Loading their car with bags. She had sunglasses on. He was laughing. She looked up once, right at me. Held my gaze. Then turned away. They left for a weekend trip. No warning. No goodbye. When she finally messaged me 2 days later, I read it over and over. "I am sorry." I panicked. He asked questions. I had to go away with him to make him feel better. "Please do not hate me." I should have hated her. But I could not. Because I was already in love with her. And I was starting to wonder if I meant as much to her as she did to me. It happened on a Monday. Jason was supposed to be on a business trip. Nicole told me she would come over around midnight. She sent me a message earlier that day that said, "I need you tonight. I feel like I am falling apart." I lit candles in my bedroom. I changed the sheets. I even shaved my legs, like I was preparing for something more than just sex. Maybe a confession. Maybe a promise. Maybe, finally, a future. But she never showed up. Not at midnight. Not at 1. Not at 2. At 2:30, I gave up and turned off the lights. At 3, there was a knock on my door. But it was not Nicole. It was Jason. He stood on my porch in the dark, wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt. His hair was a mess. His face looked like it had been crying, or maybe he had not slept. He said nothing. Just stared at me. The silence between us was heavy. I opened the door slowly. "Jason. Are you okay?" He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a phone. Not his. Nicole's. He opened the screen and handed it to me. There were messages, mine. Photos. Notes. Recordings. Her voice, whispering things into the night. "I miss the way you taste. I think I love you. He is asleep. I wish you were inside me instead." I could not breathe. Jason spoke slowly. Too calmly. I found it hidden in her car. I guess she forgot to log out. I stepped back. "Jason, Is it true?" he asked. I looked at him. My mouth opened. But no words came out. He smiled, cold, cracked. I thought she was just distant. I thought she was depressed. I blamed myself. I bought her flowers. I booked us therapy. I tried everything. He laughed, one sharp sound. And the whole time, she was fucking the woman next door. Nicole showed up 20 minutes later. Jason was still there, sitting in my living room like a man trying not to snap. I told him he should go. He refused. He said he wanted her to look him in the eye and tell him what she had done. Nicole walked in, and her face went pale. She saw the phone. Saw Jason. Saw me. And I saw the truth all over her face. This was over. She broke into tears. Fell to her knees. Tried to explain. Tried to say it meant something. Tried to say she was sorry. Jason was silent. He just stared at her like she was a stranger. And then he said the thing I never expected. "I am not angry that you slept with a woman. I am angry you never gave me the truth. Not once." He turned to me. His eyes were wild. Did you ever think about what this would do to us? Did either of you? Nicole reached for him, but he pulled away. He walked out. And just like that, the secret was no longer a secret. Nicole stayed with me that night. We did not touch. We did not kiss. She just lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling, whispering things to herself I could not understand. She kept saying, "I ruined everything. I ruined everything." I held her hand. I wanted to hate her, but I still loved her. The next morning, she was gone. Not just from my house. From the neighborhood. A moving truck came that weekend. Jason packed it. Alone. He did not say a word to me. Nicole never came back. I called. Texted. Wrote long emails I never sent. Weeks passed. Then one day, a letter arrived. It was from Nicole. There were no promises. No apologies. Just the truth. Rachel. I think I always knew I was not straight. But I was terrified of what that meant. You opened something in me. You made me feel seen, wanted, known. And I betrayed you in the same way I betrayed him. I never deserved either of you. I want you to know, I meant it when I said I loved you. But I also know I broke you. Please do not wait for me. I am trying to find out who I am. I hope you find someone who does not need to hide you. N. I folded the letter and cried for hours. Not just for her. For me. For all the love I gave to someone who was not ready to receive it. For the way I let myself believe that loving her would make her choose me. For the part of me that still wished she would come back. It has been 9 months since that night. I still live in the same house. The side gate still creaks when the wind blows. Sometimes I wake up at midnight and swear I hear a knock at the door. But it is never her. And maybe, that is a good thing. Because now, I am learning how to love myself in the silence she left behind. And that might be the most honest love I have ever known.